Hello, this is Dudedyne and welcome to the fourth video in the Classic Memories and Insights series. In this fourth video, we're going to take a look at the Horde starting zones. I would like to remind you that in this series I don't do a lot of editing. There might be a lot of and thinking and me rambling about some subjects, so please keep that in mind. The Horde starting zones are a little bit different to me than the Alliance starting zones, because the first character I ever made was an Alliance, so Horde is a little bit different for me, but I did play a lot of Horde. I did play Horde in the Burning Crusade, in Wrath of the Lich King, in Cataclysm, Mists of Pandaria, and in Legion. So I actually played more Horde than Alliance, even though I would say my heart lies with Alliance more. Anyway, we will start with the Orc and the Troll zone, because that's the first zone I explored. My first character on the Horde side was a Troll Priest, and I remember that I made it with a friend. He was a Troll Shaman. We leveled it up together a little bit. We didn't go high, maybe like level 6 or so together, and then I think I made it to level 12, something like that. But I didn't go much higher than that. I remember it was a very hot day when we made that character, and that really stayed with me, because the Orc and the Troll starting zone, the red sand, the geography, it really shouts hotness, it shouts a warm climate. You feel it in the game and you feel it in real life. That's also one of the main strengths, in my opinion, of that starting zone, that you really see the geography, the weather pattern, the relief, everything is so well done, and you can really see what they meant to do with that zone. You can see those ravines, the mushroom rocks, you can see the animals who live there, the scorpions. It really fits together very well. So altogether you are in a very hot desert somewhere. Also next to that you have the architecture of the trolls, and that's somewhat different because the trolls, they live in the more tropical zones, and the tropical zone is really fit into the desert, which is really well done. It doesn't seem weird or anything. And also it's one of the only zones where, or maybe even the only one, where you go out of the starting zone and the first thing you do is you go to the troll village, which is next to the sea, and then you have to swim already to an island. And that really makes a very tropical, again warm feel, but not as dry as the rest of the zone, which is something really interesting and unique as well. The trolls really feature this African style. They live in wooden huts, they have those voodoo things, they do those dances. You have the drums, the music in those villages, and they live next to the sea in some tropical woods where they can have fruits from the trees and stuff. It gives a very nice atmosphere, in my opinion. And that's also one of the reasons I usually pick a troll if I pick a Horde character. I like that atmosphere in those troll villages. And that is much different from the orcs. The orcs, in my opinion, have the hardest style to really describe, but it's very well done. It's more of a fierce, aggressive style. They have those stone buildings with the wooden peaks for defense. They have this more arena style, also in a very hot climate, but really more like the aggressive style. You don't want to be in there if you are not friendly with the orcs. I think Orgrimmar really captured the idea, the theme of the orcs very well. There's not much structure in the buildings or in the placement of the buildings, but still it fits together in one way or another. You can feel the vibe in the city, you can feel the heat, you can smell the sweat. You really get an idea of the atmosphere in that major city. It's really well done. I really like the Alliance cities, I love them, but the city of Orgrimmar, some way, somehow, I fell in love with it the first time I saw it. It's really well done. I think you can describe the style of the Hordes also a little bit as the old Roman style, like you can see in movies as Gladiator. The cities that were back in those days what I can see, somewhat in Orgrimmar, which is a very interesting style. Now, one of the negative points, in my opinion, of the Orc and Troll starting zone is that the red sand is really cool, but the next zone you go into is like almost always it's the Barrens, and the Barrens is also this kind of red desert. It's less red, of course; it's more yellowish sand. Still, there's not a very big difference in style, in geography, if you go from the Durotar to the Barrens. And that's for me maybe a little bit of a negative, because the first 20-25 levels maybe you will see the same geography. And if you go to Stonetail and Mountains, it's really again a little bit different, but it's still those same rocks. Then the next zone I would like to talk about is the one of the Undead. Now I know that Undead is the preferred starting zone of many people. Many think it's the very best starting zone in the entirety of the game. I don't like it. I'm sorry for everyone who's a fan. I do not like it. I don't like the dark atmosphere. I'm really much more of a fan of the forests of the elves, or the forests of the humans, or the dry scenery of the Horde, like the Terran and the orcs and the trolls. But I do not like those dark zones. I don't like Duskwood either. I know many people love it. I don't really like it. I know there is a good storyline in those zones. I know that, but I don't like the atmosphere. I kind of get a headache every time I log into those zones. It's not my kind of thing. Now, I have to admit that after the troll I made and leveled up to level 12, the next Horde character, and the first one I mained at max level, was an Undead Priest. So I did do the Undead zone twice even, because later I made an Undead Priest again. Now I mainly made that Undead Priest because people told me Undead is the best priest race for Horde. You should play Undead because they are OP in PvP. So I made an Undead, I went to the zone. I suppose I got a few headaches because, like I said, I don't like the atmosphere, but still, I think the zone was decently fun. But it's not my kind of thing. And of course, you have those dead bodies hanging on the trees. You have the zombies, you have the spiders, you have the dead fields. You have an entire atmosphere of death, and that's something I really don't enjoy. I've heard that many people say that the city of Brill, the first one you go to, is one of the best first settlements in the game. And I can see why people say that. Now, some positive parts about the Undead. What do I like about the Undead? Well, that is that they often go to Hillbred Foothills. They, of course, first go to Silver Pine Forest, which I already like a little bit more than the starting zone. But what I do really like about the Undead is the Hillspread Foothills. The moment I get out of those dark zones, the moment I set foot in Hillspread Foothills, I was a very happy kid. And I would still be a very happy kid today. And for that reason, I would still consider to roll an Undead. To first go through those dark zones, don't like him very much, and then set foot in the sunny Hillspread Foothills. Of course, if it's a rainy day, I will feel miserable, but if it's a sunny day, wow, what a feeling. I love the quests in Hillspread. They are very interesting and plenty of quests. I like those quests on this farmland with the little city there with the church and the blacksmith. You know what I'm talking about, I suppose. I like the PvP in Hillspread Foothills. All in all, it's just a great zone, and because it's a follow-up for the Undead, that's a very big positive for me. Okay, let's now leave the Undead with this positive note and we go on to the Terran zones. As you may have realized by now, the Terran zone is probably my favorite from the Horde zones. Why is that? Because the Terran zone captures what I like in a zone, which is it seems sunny, it seems happy, it has nice geography, it's green, it's really just a nice atmosphere. And that's what I like. So the Terran zone really does it very well again. I must say Blizzard did a very great job here. You have those cows basically running in the wide plains. You have those never-ending grasslands, and again, It is so different from all of the other starting zones, and that's something World of Warcraft did so well in the beginning. They made every single starting zone extremely unique, and that means that everyone gets an entirely different experience. And every time you make a new character in a different starting zone, you have a new feeling of excitement going through you because everything has such a different atmosphere. And that's really just incredible in something that makes Vanilla World of Warcraft one of the best games ever made, in my opinion. That's just one little part of why it is so good, but it's a very important part. When I see this Terran starting zone, I feel immediate relaxation. You feel the peace, you feel the environment. You can see those little pools of water, and you can see yourself as a Terran shaman or whatever standing next to the pool, just thinking about your restoration skills, thinking about the nature, thinking about the elements. And that's why I think that Terran shaman is really something that goes very well together. I like the other Terran combinations as well, but Terran shaman really is something that I have in my mind as a very nice combination of race and class, and that fits together very well in the Terran starting zone. The Terran have those Native American feel and looks to it. You can see it in their buildings, you can see their Native American huts, you can see the campfires. It is really the entire culture and feel and looks of the Native Americans which is fit into the Terran race, and that's very well done again. And also, of course, it's entirely different from the other races, which is cool. And last but not least, of course, you have Thunderbluff. Thunderbluff is, to me, one of the most beautiful cities, and it's definitely the most beautiful city of the Horde. The looks you get when you fly from Crossroads, for example, to Thunderbluff, it is so great. The greatness of this city on those pillars, they use wind energy, they use those lifts. It's so majestic. It's really an incredible sight when you first see it. It may not be so practical, but is Undercity really that practical? Is Stormwind that practical? I don't think so. So who cares? The looks are great. The looks are just so nice. And again, the relaxation that you feel when you see this little windmill go around on this high peak in Thunderbluff, it's indescribable. It's a very nice feeling, and that pretty much sums it up for the Horde races. So overall, I would say the Horde feels a lot more sunny, a lot more hot than the Alliance, but the Horde also has the very dark Undead. So if you like that kind of starting zone, definitely go for it. If you like the more sweaty and hot or the more nice and sunny plains, go for one of the other starting zones. And most important of all, thanks for watching and have a nice day.